Prostitution, often referred to as the world's oldest profession, varies significantly in prevalence and legality across different countries. The reasons for the high number of sex workers in certain countries are multifaceted, including economic conditions, social norms, legal frameworks, and levels of enforcement. Factors such as poverty, lack of employment opportunities, gender inequality, and human trafficking also play crucial roles in the dynamics of the sex industry. Moreover, tourism and the presence of transient populations can exacerbate the situation, creating hotspots for sex work. Here's an introduction to the 10 countries with the most significant number of prostitutes in the world. Number 1. India, with its vast and diverse population, faces significant socioeconomic disparities that lead many to engage in sex work. While prostitution itself is not illegal, many related activities such as soliciting in public, operating brothels, and pimping are criminalized, placing sex workers in a legally precarious position vulnerable to exploitation. Major red light districts like Sonagachi in Kolkata and Kamathipura in Mumbai are prominent, with Sonagachi housing 11,000 to 20,000 sex workers and Kamathipura housing 5,000 to 10,000. Despite health and social interventions, these areas still struggle with poor working conditions, health risks, and inadequate services. Sex workers in India face additional challenges due to a lack of legal protection and pervasive social stigma. The Immoral Traffic Prevention Act (ITPA) of 1956, aimed at curbing sex trafficking, often penalizes sex workers and disrupts their lives through police raids and arrests. Number 2. China. Despite strict legal prohibitions against prostitution, China has a large underground sex industry. The rapid economic growth and urbanization have increased the demand for sex workers, while internal migration from rural to urban areas has expanded the supply. The clandestine nature of the industry makes it difficult to regulate and protect sex workers, leading to significant human rights concerns. Sex workers often endure deplorable working conditions with rampant violence and coercion. Human trafficking is a critical issue, with individuals forced into prostitution. Government crackdowns on prostitution have been largely superficial, pushing the industry further underground. Comprehensive efforts, including legal protections, anti-trafficking measures, and support services, are needed to address these issues and improve conditions for sex workers in China. Many sex workers operate in entertainment venues like nightclubs, karaoke bars, massage parlors, and hotels, where the lines between legitimate and illegal activities blur. Without legal protection, sex workers are susceptible to exploitation by clients, brothel owners, and corrupt law enforcement officials, often facing harassment, extortion, and arbitrary detention. Number 3. United States of America. Prostitution laws in the United States vary widely across different states. While it is illegal in most parts of the country, it is legal and regulated in certain counties. In Nevada's legal brothels, sex work is subject to strict regulations aimed at ensuring the health and safety of the workers. These regulations include mandatory health checks, the use of condoms, and licensing requirements for both brothels and workers. Despite these regulations, challenges such as exploitation and human trafficking persist, even within the legal framework. Human trafficking is a pervasive issue intertwined with the sex industry in the United States. Victims of trafficking are often coerced or deceived into prostitution and face severe abuse and exploitation. The inconsistent legal landscape across states complicates efforts to combat trafficking effectively. While some states have implemented comprehensive anti-trafficking laws and victim support programs, others lack adequate resources and legal frameworks to address the issue robustly. Number 4. Brazil. Known for its vibrant culture and booming tourism industry, Brazil has a significant number of sex workers, driven largely by profound economic inequality. In Brazil, prostitution itself is legal, allowing individuals to sell sexual services freely. However, activities associated with prostitution, such as operating a brothel, pimping, and trafficking, are illegal. This legal framework creates a complex environment for sex workers who often operate in a gray area with limited protection and oversight. Major cities like Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo are particularly notable for their active and visible sex industries. These cities attract numerous tourists, some of whom engage in sex tourism, further intertwining the sex industry with Brazil's tourism sector. Despite the legality of prostitution, sex workers in Brazil face numerous challenges, including exploitation, violence, and health risks, exacerbated by their precarious legal status and the pervasive stigma associated with their profession. Efforts to address these issues are ongoing, involving both governmental and non-governmental organizations working to provide support and advocate for the rights of sex workers. Number 5. Thailand. Thailand is infamous for its sex tourism industry. Despite prostitution being technically illegal, the industry is widely tolerated and forms a significant part of the economy, particularly in tourist hotspots such as Bangkok and Pattaya. These cities are renowned for their vibrant nightlife, where numerous bars, clubs, and massage parlors discreetly or openly offer sexual services, attracting both domestic and international clientele. The demand for commercial sex in Thailand is fueled by a combination of local cultural factors and international tourism. Many tourists are drawn to the country specifically for its permissive attitude towards sex work, making it a substantial draw for visitors. This, in turn, contributes significantly to the local economy. Despite ongoing efforts by the Thai government and various organizations to combat sex trafficking and exploitation, the industry remains pervasive. Challenges include addressing the legal gray areas, providing protection and support for sex workers, and tackling the deep-seated economic and social issues that drive individuals into the sex trade. Number 6. Germany. In Germany, prostitution is legal and regulated, making it one of the most structured sex industries in the world. This comprehensive legal framework, established by the Prostitution Act of 22 and further strengthened by the 2017 Protection of Prostitutes Act, ensures that sex workers are registered and benefit from health and safety regulations. These laws mandate regular health checkups, access to Social Security, and the ability to work under defined conditions, thereby enhancing the welfare and protection of sex workers. Major cities like Berlin and Hamburg are renowned for their well-established red light districts and regulated brothels. In Berlin, areas such as the Kurfürstenstraße are known for their visible sex work scenes, while Hamburg's Reeperbahn in the St. Pauli district is internationally famous for its nightlife and sex industry. Number 7. Philippines. Economic struggles and soaring joblessness compel numerous women in the Philippines to turn to the sex trade. Despite its illegality, prostitution proliferates, notably in locales teeming with tourists like Manila and Angeles City. This industry frequently intersects with human trafficking and exploitation, subjecting sex workers to perilous conditions and scant safeguards. The nexus between economic hardship and the sex industry perpetuates a cycle of vulnerability, wherein individuals resort to precarious means of survival. Efforts to combat these issues must address both the economic root causes and the systemic vulnerabilities that perpetuate exploitation and endangerment within the sex trade. Number 8. Mexico. Mexico's adjacency to the United States, coupled with its thriving tourism sector, fosters a substantial presence of sex workers. While prostitution is regulated in certain regions, notably tourist hotspots like Tijuana and Cancun, its association with organized crime, human trafficking, and pervasive violence against sex workers remains troubling. This nexus underscores the urgency for enhanced regulatory mechanisms and fortified protections within the industry. The interplay of tourism, criminal enterprises, and exploitation necessitates more robust frameworks to safeguard the rights and well-being of those engaged in sex work. Efforts should encompass not only legal reforms but also comprehensive support services aimed at mitigating the vulnerabilities faced by sex workers and combating the insidious forces driving their exploitation.